My daughter and I were dealing with asthma and allergies, and we were on numerous different medications, and I was wanting to get us both off of those. I really had no idea that I had any food allergies until I had gotten well into this NAET process. We were mostly concerned about environmental allergies. I knew I had a lot of environmental allergies, and so did she. And so we got sick during different seasons of the year, but I didn't link it at all to food allergies. I've come to realize just mostly recently that a lot of my environmental allergies were because of the food I was eating. And because I would make my body weaker with the foods that I would eat, then I would go out and I'd go among these environmental allergies that I'm allergic to, and my symptoms would appear. But if I stayed away from foods that I wasn't allergic to, then I could go outside and I was fine. What I was hoping for when I started NAET was that I'd be able to get off of my medicines. And primarily, I was planning on my daughter to get off of her medicines first. I was looking well into the future of when she was an adult, and she was already on so many medicines, and I saw that that wasn't a good thing for her in the long run. After my first NAET treatment, I just thought that this was really weird, and if I wasn't so convinced that this is where I needed to be, then I would just think that this was a weird thing, and I'm not sure if I would have continued on with it, but I was convinced that I needed to be here. When my daughter started NAET, she was on 4 medicines at the time. Every spring she dealt with bronchitis and needed antibiotics, and she was starting to have more asthma attacks. And now that she has been doing NAET, she did the basic 15, and we've just kind of continued since then. She's on 1 medicine. In fact, her doctor took her off of one of her medicines just recently, and that's really neat to see the confirmation. And she hasn't needed to have any antibiotics the last 2 springs. She's gotten colds and she's gotten over them on her own, and before she wasn't able to get over colds on her own without some sort of antibiotic going on. So it's been really significant for her. She's down from 4 medicines to 1 medicine, and she's healthier. NAET has changed a lot of things in my life. It's changed my health. I'm now not on any medicines, and am feeling better than I was when I was on multiple medicines. I've changed my diet. It's changed my family's diet. The health of my family has changed. It's just changed a variety of different areas by starting with NAET. I used to be extremely allergic to cats, and whenever I would go to my mother-in-law's, she had 2 cats, and she would vacuum everything in her house really diligently. And I would always make sure that I was sitting on the leather couches and not touching my face and being very careful. But within just a few minutes, normally I'd start getting the itchy eyes, the itchy throat, I'd get all congested. Within 45 minutes, I was pretty miserable in her house, even though I was doing all these precautions. And I actually got treated for her cats specifically. And now I can go and just drop in on her house. She hasn't made any preparations. I can sit wherever. I've held the cats before. I have no reactions. And the first time that I was able to test out whether I was really allergic to cats or not was at a get-together, and a bunch of us were all sitting on the couch, and out comes my friend's cat, and I didn't even know that she had a cat. But the cat came up to me and decided to come take a nap on my chest. And I was just praying really to see, if this was going to work or not. I wasn't really sure. And the cat was on my chest for about 20 minutes, and then he sat next to me for another half hour, and I was petting him, and I was absolutely fine. I stayed at the house for another couple hours, and When I got home to test it out, I rubbed my whole face with my hand that had been touching this cat, and I didn't wash my face all night. And the next morning I was still allergy free. And so my friends have started to come to NAET because of that example, and I was able to see how something that I was really allergic to, I'm not reactive at all anymore. I'm just really thankful for being able to start NAET. It's made such a huge difference with my health and the health of my family and the health of my friends. For people who know me, it doesn't take long before a conversation starts getting geared toward allergies, and that you don't have to live with those allergies, and that you can really live a healthy life. When I have had friends that have asked me what I've done or have considered NAET, I tell them my story. Or there's been times when I've been at a friend's house and they know how allergic to cats I am, but the cat comes up and rests on my chest for 20 minutes and I'm allergy free. And so I think a lot of when they see the changes in my health and things that I'm able to do, then they're a lot more apt to be able to make that phone call. Well, I'm not aware of anyone who hasn't benefited from NAET, but I think everyone that I've talked to has been seeing Pamela. I know that when I first started NAET, I really wanted to just work on the environmental things and not get through the basic 15. And she was able to get me to understand the purpose of sticking with the basic 15 first. And with that, I did that. And then there's been times when after we finished the 15, we have done some environmental things. But then after a period of time, without improvement, she started to question whether there was more food allergies or not. And so with that, there's just been different situations that have popped up to where I've come to realize that I have more food allergies than I thought I had. And when I stay away from those foods, then my environmental allergies go away. Or if I get treated with those foods, then the environmental allergies go away.